the Chicago Bulls are projected to have between $20 and $21 million beneath the first tax apron. And that's where they sit right now. They've hard capped themselves, so that is their hard cap right there. They have hard capped themselves. And what does that do for the Bulls? Right now, while it does not seem like the Bulls are going to really be, there's nobody else left to sign. They do have their full mid-level exception that they can give. But here's the thing that I want to tell you guys is that the Bulls having $83-ish million in expiring salary and having $21 million beneath the first tax apron, what does that do? That makes the Bulls a prime destination if they want to absorb salary. Now, the Bulls have shown no inclination that that's kind of where they want to go with their cap space. But if the Bulls did, let's say that there was a team that wanted to do and they needed to dump off some salary to a team. The Bulls not only have the expiring money to get it done, they have the space still under the first tax apron where they can legitimately be a team that can absorb some bad salary and add draft picks to doing that. Now, what is AK's risk tolerance to doing that? It doesn't seem like he's the type of GM that wants to do that via how he's operated the Bulls since he's been here, but it is something to look at. But let's move on from that. What else does that give the Bulls? If this team is a team that is competing, and I have this as a team that can, fight and compete to be above 500 this season. If that ends up holding true and they do go above 500 or at 500 or above this season and they're on that pace, at the buyout market, the Bulls can be a big player in the buyout market. They have their full mid-level exception. They still have their biannual exception as well. The Bulls have a lot of tools at their disposal. They have $14 million of a non-taxpayer mid-level exception. They have $5 million of a biannual exception. They have $17 million in a trade exception, another $2.9 million trade exception, and they have a vet minimum of a vet minimum contract that they can offer to any player. Again, they would have to create the open roster spot to get that done. But this makes the Chicago Bulls this season one of the teams that during the season has the most assets available. Now, I know it's a lot of reason for pessimism. The Bulls have let trade exceptions expire. They've let mid-level exceptions go unused. They've let biannual exceptions go unused. They have been a front office that has allowed things that can improve your team go unused because of they try to avoid that first tax apron, right? They do not avoid going into the luxury tax. Now, I will say this, though. The one thing that could make this season different for the Chicago Bulls is the fact that let's say their $17 million trade exception, because they are $21 million below the first tax apron, below the luxury tax, that means that they can use that to absorb that whole salary and not have to match it and still be under the luxury tax. So